Why don't we take a look at a couple of headphones that are piquing my interest for a number of reasons, both good and bad. Number one is this, the Ultrasone Edition 15 Veritas. Beautiful headphone, bit of wood, bit of metal. It's got silver where it should be silver. It's got wood where it should be wood. That's what she said. Clickable headphone band on both sides. A departure from the MMCX. It looks still to be some sort of coaxial connection. And these things are, I've got them right, I'm sweating as well, pardon me. A little bit busy today. These things are comfortable. Blocks quite a bit of noise, although it appears to be slightly open. The ears are not pressing against the speakers themselves. And by the way, the pads come off. You can see right there, there's a speaker inside there. I don't know if the camera's focusing or not. The Fujifilm's out of battery, as it always is. So this is the Leica, and the Leica does not focus very well in video. But there's a speaker. The pads are, you know, it doesn't smell very good. I hope it's not some sort of fake leather, but it feels like a real leather, but it probably got a lot of polish on it. It attaches magnetically, like that. Come off easy peasy. Let's see how they sound. Okay, so we're not really hearing main stage at all. Those are opening seconds which can yawn open like if the headphone can actually render those sub bass notes. Or if you've got a subwoofer like I have down there, the whole house will shake. If you don't have that, you don't hear anything. My regular speakers don't hear anything. There's no information being passed to the ear from them. And a lot of headphones cannot render those opening seconds. And these ones, I don't really hear anything. The highs are a little bit peaky still, but they're not bad at all. Soundstage is still kind of weirdly compressed, as you notice all the time with S-Logic. Is it wide or is it compressed? Really hard to tell. Overall, they're nice. I don't know how much they cost, and I don't think I would ever be the market for them, but it's pretty nice. I like it. Whatever. You want to see what these look like. And of course and my 3-word summary for the Ultrasone Edition 15 is, what a mid-range. Ladies and gents, the reason I brought up the whole German thing was because the next earphone really chaps my hide. In fact, it's an earphone that chaps my hide so much that I actually want to bring up Americana, because chaps my hide sounds a little bit cowboyishness to me, or cowboyish. So here is an Ultrasone, campfire case. You know, I've never thought about it, but I've never really mixed those two up until now. Because this one, let me check the teleprompter down there, is called Saphire from Ultrasone. There's a case for Saphire. It's the same size as the Campfire Audio one for Jupiter or Atlas or any of those. It's got a zipper, admittedly maybe on the other side, or wait, same side. It's got branding here, fake leather, has the same billfolds here. It's got some, well, it's not sheepskin, but it's some sort of fake fur in here, and it is the same shape, same size, same idea. The way Ultrasone engineered its soundbore is very similar to the way that the Campfire Audio engineers its soundbore. Instead of doing the cheap paint code that they did on the, say, Ultrasone EQ, one of my favorite earphones, well, they're doing something a little bit similar to the high-end Campfires, which is a sandblasting. It's a much nicer. And they've gone back to the 2-prong plug, which I think is good, rather than the MMCX. But of course, that's different from their headphone line. I don't know what they're thinking, because now you've got 2 different plugs to worry about, and maybe you had a cable that you liked for your earphones, or you had a cable that you liked for your headphones, and they don't work anymore together. What's that, you know? All right, let's plug these bad boys in. Pinch over the ear. So far, extremely comfortable. Here's one thing that they definitely beat Campfire Audio with. Campfire Audio I love, but comfort is not one of their strong suits, even though probably Ken and Caleb will say, no man, it's comfortable. Cable, as we know, it's one of these pretty wretched strong things that Ultrasone have put on. It's the wrong cable type, damn it. Let's start this Saphire listening session with Marcus Scholl's main stage. But looks like there's no neck cinch. Not that you really need one, because the Y-split's pretty far up. You don't need a neck cinch, but it would be kind of nice to have one. The cable itself makes quite a bit of noise. Nothing like the Campfire Audio tinsel stuff. Now that stuff was like a veritable drum kit in your ears. No, it's nothing like that, but it does make noise when you shake your earphone or whatever. Okay, we're getting a bit of rumble. I would say it's on par with, possibly surpassing something like the Heidi's MS1, which I reviewed at Headphonics. Actually, in between the MS1 and the MS4, so there's rumble. It's not like, it's nothing like that, but it's in between a and a faint flutter. So good low-end bass response. These are a lot warmer than something like the EQ, which is one of my favorite Ultrasone earphones of all time. I gotta say, their earphones are a lot better than headphones, I think. Warm mids, good bass, chunky bass. Highs are not really that picky at all. Here's my 3-word summary of the Ultrasone Saphire. Warm, not picky. The next company I want to highlight is Audio-Technica. And why is it that I want to highlight them rather than someone that's a little bit more exciting? Is because for a long time, since around 2000, okay, I'll be honest here. My first hi-fi headphone was actually an Audio-Technica. I think it was an AT700. This was in like 2004, 2005, right about the time I started to get interested in head-fi. Now, I am now no longer with those headphones. I sold them at a ridiculous price to my cousin. Bad me, eh? In the intervening years, I have sold, purchased, and loved and hated a bunch of different Audio-Technica headphones and earphones. My favorite being the CK10, which I reference in many of my reviews and articles and videos. It's tough, it's got a great cable, the sound is a bit scratchy, but if you get the right tips on them and you can do something with the filters, they sound heavenly today as they did yesterday. Great earphones. And then, after the CK100, which was a follow-up to the CK10 and perhaps a better, perhaps a worse earphone, they went off the deep end. Audio-Technica started releasing their own proprietary cables. They went all in plastic, big bulbous bodies that were ugly and toyish. They looked like they were made by Toy Story or something like that. Horrible earphones. Maybe they sounded good, but they were not made well. They were not the Audio-Technica of the classic 2000s age. Well, today, Audio-Technica are back. This is the ATH-CM2000Ti. Horrible naming. Audio-Technica have always been horrible at naming their stuff. And this one is called the ATH-CK2000Ti. Sounds really similar. One's got a one's got a K, one's got an M. Both have got 2000s and they're Ti. I believe the Ti might be for titanium. I haven't heard them, but they are beautiful metal earphones that harken back to the glory days of Audio-Technica. Let's take a look. Alright, bad boys, this is the CM2000Ti. It is an earbud with a pad, evidently, and not another pad here. I don't know where the second pad has gone, but it's got 2 large pads. These are large diameter dynamic earphones that go just like, that's the left one, just like this, and just like this. And if you hit play, oh, they're so open. We've got a bit of a peaky high here going on, but it's a peaky high with a bit of good stereo separation. Decent imaging that's going around the head, not forward in the Z-axis. It's mostly like this. There's no way this is going to render the opening seconds to Marcus Scholl's main stage, but let's check it out. Very, very faint. Possible flutter in there. Essentially, at the ear, this thing's not quite going to be neutral for bass. The bass on this thing is pretty damn flat, if not, like I said, deficient. There's a lot of sparkle and openness in the mid-range, but there's not a lot of heaviness behind male vocals. None of that authority that I really expect from, say, Snoop Dogg. Yeah, I expect authority from Snoop Dogg. My 3-word summary for the CM2000Ti is no authority Snoop Dogg. Alright, here's a CK2000Ti. CK may mean that it follows the CK10, my favorite of all CK earphones thus far. This goes down very easily. Gets pretty damn loud too. There's a lot more bass coming from this bad boy. We got a little bit of authority even with Snoop Dogg. Alright, let's check out main stage. It's deeper than a flutter. It's a pounding flutter, not a yawn, with a good amount of stereo detail in the bass. I'm very satisfied with this. Swirling around the head a bit. Let's check out some more stuff. Let's go back to Armin van Buuren, of course. Start with closer. There's a good feel in the bass. This is not just flat for the machines. There's a good flatness, if not a slight elevation, even when you're counting in the ear's own EQ parameters. There's definitely V-shape, highs are elevated, decent mid-warmth. I'm happy with this. My 3-word summary for the CK2000Ti is, there's a V. In 2009 or 2010, I had the Harvey Audio JH13. Great earphone, was at 5 drivers per side, or 6. Unprecedented at the time. And you know what? I don't think I've ever encountered an earphone that was really worth or sounds that much better than that earphone. I found earphones that I find more comfortable, ones with better cables, and ones that I might prefer, but ones that actually sound better, I'm not sure about that. That was kind of the last Harvey Audio earphone I went for, and it wasn't because I didn't like Harvey. It was because I didn't find something better from anyone really, and that was the last high-end earphone that I really invested in. Now today, I'm taking pictures of Diana. Diana is part of the Siren series, which has been going on for 4 or 5 years. A great series, universal, and this is the first one I've touched that has got such unique industrial design. In fact, this is a unique industrial design, I think, that brings us some of the gems from Campfire Audio and even from Noble. It's got the square, muscly look. It's kind of like an American sports car. The cable plugs in not like this, but like that with the 2 prongs, which is not something I've seen in an earphone before, which causes it to be a little bit of a bugger for glasses wearers like me. And, well, it doesn't fit all that great, but what Harvey Audio Siren series earphone ever did. Let's take a look. Dangle, 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 here we are. It's red and silver, or red and white, just like the K10 Universal that I shot back in, what, 2016 or 2015 for Noble Audio. Except these ones are a little bit less delicately designed and a little bit more, again, muscly. Thick 6-strand cable that then divides into 3 strands apiece toward each earphone. On this side, I have connected the 3.5 adapter to the 2.5 millimeter balanced to go with my wonderful audio setup known as iPhone SE. Let's check out Marcus Schull's main stage. There's nary a yawn, nary a flutter. I rather think that these earphones are going to be considered neutral at the ear and possibly very slightly elevated. As with all Harvey earphones, the mid-range is thick, almost dripping. Maybe not emotionally, but with thickness. The bass is definitely coming in through the upper bass. Obviously, we're not getting any sort of information in the main stage area of like 50 hertz and 60 hertz, and below that, it's all higher than that. And in which case, it is a dark, warm, thick bass, as is typical for Harvey. A very nice, easy to get into sound. One that I would really like to spend some time with. I would sum up the Harvey Diana with these 3 words: mids and bass, in that order. Alright, the last headphone I'm going to discuss is this bad boy. It's obviously an Audio Technica, and this appears to be leather. It feels good. It doesn't necessarily smell like much, but it's definitely not protein. This is such a good step for Audio Technica, who, as I said, have gone down all the wrong roads in the last some years. Whenever it was that Audio Technica started manufacturing and developing this headphone, last year or the year before, they turned a corner because it's no longer cheap, plastic, crappy stuff. This is a beautiful, leather smelling, definitely not leather as in pleather, headphone box. And inside, we have this headphone, whose name eludes me except for the fact it's written on the headband. It is the ATH-AP 2000Ti, the Ti signifying titanium, which is the material the cups are made from. On the bottom, it looks as if we have some sort of coaxial cable connection, probably similar to the earphones that we tried, also 2000 level Ti earphones and earbuds. Whatever Audio Technica are doing recently, it is, feels good. Feels like the grills in here are metal as well. Let's try them on. This is just without the cable, just gonna see how it feels. Oh, it's comfortable. It feels light, there's a bit of pressure right on the top of the head, but it's nothing that the headband is not cleverly taken care of. These cover the ear perfectly. My ears are not large ears, of course, they're a little bit small, so they won't fit or bump against any sort of material from almost any manufacturer, but they are perfectly enveloped in these cushions and they are comfortable as hell. In fact, I don't want to admit it, but I want these headphones. I don't know how much they cost. I know nothing about them except for the name. Let's hook up some cables and see how they sound. Very solid, classic Audio-Technica cable. It's like the CK10 cable just grew up and got thicker. Beautiful. I just want to bite into it, but I know it'd break a tooth. All right. Definitely need a little bit more volume for these things. This is classic Audio-Technica house sound. That is pretty energetic high mids, transitioning into kind of shiny, but also plastic wrapped highs and a compressed mid-range. Not because bass is too big and high is too big next to it, but because while there's quite a bit of space in the mid-range, there's not a lot of Z-axis forward and back. This headphone also is not going to really give you any yawn or real big flutter into the bass, meaning that if you are a bass head, you're not going to find these headphones at all satisfying. If you're a normal person who just likes bass and likes treble rather equitably, you might get on with them quite well. At the machine level, I would probably guess they're right around neutral, maybe slightly north of neutral, maybe slightly south, I don't really know. But at the ear, they're not neutral. You're not going to get low bass at all with these things. Let's see if you're going to get any sort of mid bass and high bass. Let's do some more Marcus shows. Oh yeah, this is going to be good. I can feel it. Oh, yeah, there's plenty of high bass. It's good. It's a solid high bass with quite a bit of left and right texture. Stereo sound when this bass is good. And it goes right into the mids really smoothly. It's liquid, man. Ah. The stereo detail for the high bass and the low mids for this headphone is beautiful. These are closed headphones, but the amount of stage indication you get for the left and the right, and also for the depth, especially in the bass, not as good in the mids again, is excellent. A lot of focus down low. The mids come in through clear because there's more of a compressed soundstage around them, and then it goes clear into the highs. I want these headphones. I want these headphones. 3-word summary for the Audio-Technica AP2000Ti is, I want these. And that's it. Anyway, guys, I'll see you later. I hope next time I will be back with the Leica shootout. Until then, it's been Fauxtaku Lounge. Cheers.